Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a King Kaleb production here. I did the whole tight ends video. I tried to upload it on YouTube, so I deleted all the shit off of my laptop so I can clear space. And of course, somehow something fucked up with the process. They said it stopped. Something stopped the downloading process, so all the tight end shit's completely gone. I need to remake the keynote and shit. Luckily, I just got finished with the running backs one, so I'm just gonna get this shit out of the way. I got good enough storage now. I had to delete The Sims 4 to really get some shit off. I haven't played that in a while, so yeah, I needed an hour or so break, eat something, play 2K for a little bit. Cool me down, because this shit's getting annoying, but I'm trying to rush out these lists before the draft its fucking self, as you guys know. Anyway, we're doing running backs. This is the worst running back class ever. These guys are all dog shit. You guys know the deal. You guys have heard it already. You know, what's the point of even making these lists then? And talking about these guys. So, for myself, I went down to just a top 15. I usually, last year I did 25 because that was probably the deepest class ever. And then now I guess the least deepest ever, but whatever. Adam Randall, Clemson, all around good guy. He's a good guy, good humanitarian. No, good enough receiver, good enough runner, nothing incredible. Probably, yeah. Will definitely be undrafted, might not get a chance. We already know how this goes. Jamal Haynes, good shifty guy. Can catch a little, Jaden Ott, Oklahoma, not really. I should have just put Cal and put him in a Cal uniform. He did jack shit for Oklahoma this year. He had some injuries as well, but even when he's healthy, he wasn't getting carries. I don't know why, but I still have him because his Cal career was so great that, he's still, borderline top 10 running back in this class. Good power, good enough vision, isn't the most elite guy. Might be a tad undersized, maybe, for some people. I don't know, don't care. 12, Keelan Black, just a well-rounded, powerful downhill runner. I get some catchability, nothing crazy. Seth McGowan out of Kentucky, a lot of people might like him. He's older, he's transferred like 3 times. He has some fumble history, but he is a really good athlete and has some potential. So that's why he's almost in my top 10. As we got Jamari Taylor out of Virginia, 56th round pick, if even that. These running backs are probably going to be day 3, except for like 3 of them. Because the NFL hates them, all the nerds online hate them. So let's just make this a 5-minute video. Good contact balance, good pass blocker, just a stronger, powerful running back. You think of Sincere McCormick. I think he has a little more upside, but I liked him coming out of UTSA. He just, for whatever reason, running backs get a chance, don't get a chance. They get a good line, good coach, scheme. It's a crapshoot really with these running backs because some teams value them, some teams don't. So they just interchangeable for some people, or you guys know the vibes. No top end speed, so he's not gonna have any home run hits in the home run runs in the league probably, and isn't the best receiver and probably never will be, but good at playing football. Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M, 56 again. His biggest knock is probably going to be his injuries. I think he had a non-season ending ankle or injury, some shit. I don't know. But great footwork, good vision. He knows how to hit the holes pretty well. All right receiver. Pad level, he runs a little higher than what people would want. And then, pass production. Just didn't get a lot of touches in the receiving end, but especially with the injuries, I think that might have been the case. And Reed and just how the offense is set up, it's not really for like a lot of touches for the running backs receiving wise, but Saw Tank Bigsby comp. We love Tank Bigsby comps over here. If you just want a modest, balanced backup running back, I think he's one of those guys for you. Hopefully he'll come back from the injury. Schwell. 8, Demond Claiborne out of Wake Forest. He's the more I watched him, he's probably one of my favorite running backs out of this class. Which is not saying much because they're all just pieces of shit. How dare anyone waste draft picks on him? But 5th to 6th, for sure. He has great bursts, like really, like his first couple of steps. When he has a hole, he hits it. Yeah, very explosive. Good enough vision. Has a bit of a fumble issue, so that knocks me a lot when you're a running back. And pass blocking is a lot to be desired. So you think of a guy like Keaton Mitchell, who has a lot of potential and has had good moments to his game, but injuries, and he's just not a well balanced all around running back. Is why Baltimore didn't get him on the field more and what have yous. But the idea of that is there, and I could see him in a Shanahan system. As any and every running back would be good in that type of system, but he's the type of zone running back you'd ideally think would be in that system. Number 7, Jonah Coleman out of Washington, very decisive. Good decisive runner, good patience to him too. He can hit the blocks, but controversial. People think he's either really a great workhorse, power running back, or he's just slow and dog shit. Just, again, you guys are getting the theme here. As I'm speeding through this list, I'm trying to slow down for you guys, but I'm a little in the middle. He did have injuries this year, so you can, put some of that lack of production there, but he had a great 2024, great contact balance. Again, just a good power back. Kalmanunga comp, you guys know I liked him a lot. Last year, even though he was like running back 16, but that was how deep I thought the class was, and he had a really good productive year for the Bears. Just like him, though, lacks the explosiveness, the long speed. I think he's good enough hands for a power back. Just get him in the goal line, get him in short yard situations. 5'8", 220, very compact guy. I think he can etch out a role for you in a running back committee. Don't hate him, it's just I like some other guys more, clearly. 6, Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. People love him. He's the big physical freak athlete. I don't know who they're comping him to, but I'm sure maybe Derrick Henry. That's what people might see. I'm not at all. Don't get it twisted. But he has great athleticism. He has some versatility to him. He's a really good catcher, I think, for the guy his size. You would ideally think. But again, big fumble concerns, probably more than Claiborne. Just has to clean that up. So I can't trust you being every down back. And then pad level runs a little bit high and up because of his size, obviously. Went for, again, a good modest Jay Ajayi comp. He was a bigger, not as big as Mike, but bigger, explosive, one hole, gone, has some power, contact balance to him, was great at Boise State. I see the potential. He's built his way up. I don't think he was a highly recruited guy and transferred to the SEC and had great success to the point where the McShays of the world and other people they have him like top 3, a lot of people. So I just want to see the all around game in him, and the fumbles is just a little too much for me with guys who I'm already familiar with and I've seen them for years play. That I'm a little more safe bets with, which is Katron Allen out of Penn State. He's the perfect safe bet for me, just well-rounded, great football play. He's just a good, tough football player. Scheme versatility. He can, do zone. He can just, downhill, dive, hand him the ball 3 times. He'll get you the first down, get enough power, contact balance. Hands is all right. He didn't have much of a route tree to him. He's not the most exciting, explosive, elusive runner. Doesn't have much wiggle to him, long speed, but I think he's a good, really solid piece to your puzzle that is the running game. Saw Jordan Howard comp, liked it a lot. You guys remember from Indiana, right? And the Bears. I think he can have, a couple good years to him, a longish career. Smart guy, leader. Yeah, I think he just has the intangibles you want out of a guy. Jordan Howard did go to Indiana, by the way. I just had to double check. Number 4. His partner in crime, Nick Singleton. Again, very decisive. Most people, it's not really controversial. Most people have him lower and way lower. They just really have concerns with his vision, which I don't think it was too bad. He has good enough, some patience to him. I think it's just a consistency thing. He can, not say the whole, try to bounce it outside, but I don't think it's like too detrimental. But I could be wrong. I have been wrong with running backs a lot. He just has great explosiveness, good in the pass game, like an aggressive willing run blocker. He might miss on a couple, but I think he's still one of the better run blockers out of this class, I think. Really good receiver, good yards after the catch ability, good enough balance to him contact-wise. Just a well-rounded athlete, was highly touted, so, my 5-star bias might be setting in, but I just think he was more productive freshman, sophomore, junior-ish years, but with Allen, they were like one of the best running back duos in the past 4 years, consistently together. So, and again, the Penn State whole team was just very inconsistent for whatever reason. Don't know why. I'm just banking on his talent and what I've seen him. Like, at his best, he's better than everyone but Jeremiah Love, for real, from what I've seen. But can he consistently do that? Probably not. So, again, just put him in a committee. Nowadays, we don't have an every down back really at all, so keep him fresh. Get him in primarily a zone, but I think he can do almost in any scheme. Lamar Miller, good comp, speed, good enough power, but not the wiggle you'd want. Not the most elusive. Has moves in open field that you'd want. That in theory you'd think a guy like him would have, but still like him a lot more than pretty much everyone. So I'm sure he won't be good, unfortunately. Number 3, Emmett Johnson. I'm really defending. I'm pro Penn State this year. I don't get it. I guess because 10 years of beating their ass, it's hard to really have that hatred in them. I do consider them our second biggest rival, but yeah, they just haven't beat us. So no one else considers it really, not even them. They try to not have rivals. They think they're above having rivals. They're fucking idiots. But anyway, Emmett Johnson, Nebraska. He really impressed me this year and showed out. I wasn't too familiar with him compared to a lot of these other guys. So good agility to him, very dynamic, good patience. Waits for his blockers to set. How the spiel works. Good, really good receiver. Good yards after the catch. Shifty enough. Nothing too crazy, but I think he has some juice to him more than Singleton. Stuff. That's why we have him higher. Just really broke out this year. Pass blocking needs to be better, and top end speed. Will he ever be a 50-yard, 60-yard shot of a cannon runner? Maybe not. Didn't see a lot of comps that I liked, so I settled with Tajay Spears, who you guys know I liked a lot. He was also, I believe, my running back 3 when he came out. So I see him in that similar mold. 4th round, yeah, I think I'm hearing a lot of, good potential buzz out of him. But you already see, we're at running back 3, and I think he's going to be 4th round. So, like, all these guys are going to be day 3 except for Mike Washington. I had 3rd or 4th because I do think some team might fall in love with the idea of him. He's just such a athletic specimen, But yeah, we got Emmett Johnson, and then number 2 we got Jadarian Price. So we, obviously the Notre Dame boys at 2 and 3. Again, I would probably draft him 4th round too, really. But you're hearing a lot of buzz about him. So 2nd, 3rd, I've even seen people sneak him in the 1st round for the Seahawks, which I don't know, man. I like him, and I'm not a guy who is a positional value guy. Like, never draft a running back in the 1st round or a linebacker this high, or you gotta just draft edge rushers and quarterbacks and corners. So if you really like him and you need a running back, go ahead. But I don't know. I don't think he'll be your every down back. I'm not saying he can't. Just we didn't see it, but good explosiveness, good contact balance to him. For a guy, he looks way bigger to me than what he is. Maybe because that's his number and he's compacted, muscular. But I thought he was at least 6 foot, 215, 220. But a little more slimmer, shorter, but still compact. Probably won't be too much of a receiving threat. He has good enough hands, just limited route tree, inside runs. He likes to bounce stuff out, and he can be more stronger on the short yardage runs and more aggressive. Just really grind for those yards. He's had some fumble concerns, in the red zone. I think he had 3 fumbles. He had a couple fumbles, 3 or 5 fumbles. Let me see my boy here. Shout out to James Foster. He does way better draft analysis than me. I'm really giving you the behind the scenes of some of the stuff that I look at. Yeah, 3 fumbles in 2025, all within the 5-yard line. So that's just one of the many places I look at. I look at Bleacher Report, of all things. I look at NFL.com, the Lance Zierlein, he does some shit. I watch other YouTubers, see how they, what they think. I watch these motherfuckers myself, which, you guys get the vibes. But, so that's a big concern. It's just so specific of a thing, it really, stuck with me. So I think you can get that cleaned up. Sony Michel, his comps are all over the place. I just, think of a well-balanced guy who has some speed and power to him, but wasn't anything too... Sony was a beast in college, and, I guess Jadarian is too, but I'm trying to project his NFL career and what that looks like. I think it's just a solid rotational starter, at its best. Still like him a lot, but obviously Jeremiah Love is the guy, top guy, 1st round, should be top 5 pick. Top 7, let's just say that. I don't think he falls any farther than the Commanders. The Titans, Giants are in conversations, so one of those 3 teams. Great athleticism, the perfect blend of speed and contact balance in this class. Great vision. He's just such one of the more well-rounded backs we've seen in the past 5 years. He runs a little too high sometimes. He's had some injuries. I think last year we had a leg, knee injury, something like that. I don't think that's too consistent, but with his frame, they're concerned that he might pick up on the injuries. And then, pass blocking technique, he can just improve. He's not a liability, but it's not really a strong suit of his either. At his best, though, DeMarco Murray, when I watched him, he runs just so much like him. I remember as a kid watching him at Oklahoma. I loved him. He was great. And then, had great seasons in Dallas. So, yeah, I think he'll be a, top 10 back for the next, 4 or 5 years. You know how the running back cycles are, but He's one of the better prospects. I don't have him. I don't know, man. I might actually. No, I don't have him over Genty, and definitely not Bijan. But yeah, he's in that Jahmyr Gibbs tier. You guys know I was really high on Marion Hampton and my Ohio State boys last year. I didn't say that there was that incredible gap that everyone else was saying from Genty, but yeah, I think he's just right behind the Barkleys and the Bijans and the Gentys, but he's right there talent-wise. So it'll be fun to see. I hope this running backs group surprises people because I mean they're just so disrespectful. But they're probably right. But just for the sake of these kids, as emojis pop up, I'm like my fucking niece. She comes in here and fucks with my laptop, and that's the first thing that ever always pops up. But these guys are all living the dream, all the dreams that we had that we weren't. Not even 2% the talent that these guys were. So I like to see people succeed when like a bunch of people hate on them, which I think is kind of unnecessary. But I'm probably going to be. Well, not going to be. I'm not really like proclaiming that these guys are going to be Pro Bowlers or anything, but they're probably more than likely right. But this was the shit show that is my running backs ranking. So I will eventually be back with tight ends and receivers, and the chicken's coming back. A insane mock draft, I'm sure. This has been your boy King Caleb here, signing the fuck out.